Hello, it's time for another edition of DBE TV News. You can watch this bulletin every week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel and on OpenView, channel 122. Welcome, I am Tsehohacho Moagi. In our top stories this week, Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Basic Education continues with Bella Bill hearings. Gauteng school applications for grades 1 and 8 are open. The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative holds its provincial meeting to discuss future exit opportunities. And the Department of Basic Education reflects on Child Protection Week. Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane has urged for calm in Soshanguve after a 17-year-old grade 12 learner was brutally raped and murdered. Chilwane visited Ntsako Secondary School in Soshanguve where Palesa Malachi was a learner. According to reports, Palesa left school in the afternoon after attending extra classes and walked back home. Unfortunately, she did not return home and her family began searching for her at the school, but were unsuccessful. Her body was later found sexually violated on Friday the 26th of May in Soshanguve.
Furthermore, we need to highlight that we need more greater support outside the schooling community, because the school can only protect learners within their parameter. But once they exit the parameter, it then becomes another space on its own, and that's where we need greater work. That's why the law enforcement agency need to be on board to ensure that we get everyone to work with us, to ensure that we protect our learners and society in general. But also community members must come forward. Fortunately, community member is the one who alerted the police that they had noise. They had a scream the day before in a particular area. But what we would have wanted is this community member to would have gone and checked what had happened, and maybe we would be speaking a different story. But this is an event that has happened. This has happened now. It's not an event. This has happened, and really we need to. We are targeting to put our child to rest by then, or as soon as possible. However, we have learned, and we are going to strengthen the security measures to ensure that those learners who are attending after school classes get the support they need so that they can get home safely.
The Basic Education Portfolio Committee, together with officials from the Department of Basic Education, are continuing with the public hearings on the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill across all 9 provinces. Recently, the team was in the Western Cape, where residents there had their say on the 56 amendments proposed. The aim of the hearings is to enhance public involvement to impact positively to the mandate of participatory democracy to inform, consult, involve and provide feedback to South Africans on the way forward in respect to the Bella Bill. The department gave details of what they would like to add to the bill.
Some of the changes that are there is the focus on learner attendance. We know the country has a challenge of a high dropout rate. And in order to deal with the high dropout rate, we thought let's put it in the Act and deal with learner attendance, where school management, including the parents, are then guided on how to deal with learner absenteeism, because dropout begins with absenteeism. That we start capturing it as soon as it starts as absenteeism until we manage the children back. So the bill will have a lot to say about how the school management team needs to work with parents in order to ensure that we have an improved learner attendance in schools. You're going to find in the bill for the first time that we're saying grade R is a registered class in a schooling system. Our SASA begins at grade 1 to 12. That's why the school is, how the school is defined. We want to define the school as grade R to 12. So in order to do that, we need to change the laws and allow that to happen. This will then allow us to have funding for grade R. It will allow us to employ teachers under the Employment of Educators Act and allow teachers to be paid by the state, because at the moment, grade R learners are funded by individual parents in those institutions. So that's why we're bringing this change in so that you can accept it. We have SGBs in our schools, and these SGBs are elected every 3 years. We're going to have the next election in March next year. But these elections tend to differ from province to province. We want to come up with a system where there is only one regulation that regulates the elections of school governing bodies throughout the country, so that we don't have this variety of province to province on how they handle SGB elections. We want to put in the Act some allowance for SGBs to be able to incorporate other skillful people into the SGB that can assist them to function. Because our schools are changing. We're beginning to have schools of focus. We're beginning to have schools of specialization. And for those schools to run effectively, you need the specialists in different sectors to be members and part of the SGBs so that there could be smooth transition in that fashion.
He added that misconduct of learners in schools will also be added to the bill.
We are putting in the bill the improvement around the code of conduct of learners. We know there is a lot of abuse in our schools, there's a lot of violence in our school, but SASSA didn't go further on how misconduct in schools can be taken care of, especially by SGBs. Now what you're going to find in the bill are steps that needs to be followed, and the definition of serious misconduct and minor misconduct, so that as SGBs deal with learners that have committed serious misconduct, they know how to deal with them. If they were going to lead into suspension, if they're going to lead into expulsion. SASSA was very light around that, so we're trying to put that in the Act. You will find a definition of corporal punishment, which was not in SASSA. SASSA just abolished corporal punishment, but it didn't go further in indicating what corporal punishment actually means. It just thought of a stick that a teacher uses, but what about the pulling of hairs and the ears and the verbal abuse that goes in there? So SASSA is beginning to define those things, that when we say corporal punishment, we're including all these so that the children should not be subjected to issues of that nature. We also are saying to teachers, we want to look at how you do business with states, because we realize that teachers will do business with states and have tenders and then focus on their business and not teach. So the new amendments are beginning to say, let's regulate that if you are an employee of the department, you need to know how you deal with the state if you are a businessman. It's either you're a businessman or you are an educator and can't be both. So you're going to find those amendments inside SASSA.
Ndlebe went on to give more details of the other amendments that the department is looking to implement with this Bella bill.
We're also looking at the finances of schools. At the moment, we have challenges in the sense that SASSA only allows schools to report to the department about their financial issues at the end of the year. And they're giving about 6 months, which is the 30th of June, to give audited financial statement to the department. Now the challenges that we're seeing now is that there's a lot of abuse of finances of the school. By the time the financial statement comes, we realize that a lot of wrongs have gone, and this went undetected. We're requesting Parliament to give us permission to ask schools to give us their expenditure statements on a quarterly basis, so that by the time the audited financial statement comes, already we know where the red flags are. So that is what you're going to find in SASSA. We have serious problems with the use of Section 38A, where schools pay teachers extra remuneration. We're not cancelling that, it can continue, but we're saying when you do that, please inform the parents where their school fees is going. Inform them how much you are budgeting during the annual general meetings where budgets are passed. We want to make it a law that it is compulsory to be transparent to parents when you want to deal with that. And that's what we are asking Parliament to look at. There's been a challenge of schools that are small and non-viable, schools that have 2 teachers, 1 teacher, 3 teachers, who are unable to teach all the learners and all subjects in a particular school. And departments have been closing and merging these schools according to Section 12 of SASSA. But we're saying sometimes it's done so haphazardly. This bill starts to put in steps that needs to be followed by schools when they decide to merge or close a school. So that it shouldn't just be done at the wishes of the department, but there are rules that need to be followed. So you'll find that in SASSA, in the bill, to deal with rationalization and the merger and closure of small and non-viable schools. We presently, under SASSA, are not allowed to expel girls that are pregnant from school. We want them to continue and finish schooling. And that's all you'll find in SASSA. But teachers then tend to have a problem on how to deal with pregnant girls in the school. Now we're putting it in the bill that the minister needs to come up with regulations that will guide teachers on how to treat a pregnant child in a school. And that is what is in the bill, steps that the minister needs to propose and guide SGBs and teachers on the handling of pregnant girls.
Online applications for grades 1 and 8 will open on the 15th of June and close on the 14th of July in Gauteng. This was announced by Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chilwane during a media briefing. He added that the website has been improved and parents can apply without experiencing last year's glitches.
The 2024 online admissions for grade 1 and 8 applications period will be open from the 15th of June 2023 at 8 a.m. and it will close on the 14th of July 2023 at midnight, 000 midnight. So we will have 1 month full to allow parents to apply. The system has been improved from the previous year. Annually, we do assessment of the system and identify areas that we need to improve. And the areas vary. That's why now we know that 2020 for this system this year will be better. It will operate much better than it did last year, because annually we seek to improve it, and we do a lot of consultation in between. And the consultation is broad. That includes all the school leadership, school governing bodies, and every stakeholder that one way or the other interacts with the system to ensure that it operates effectively. So we have done some improvements to it, including its capacity to take on applications per minute. There has been an improvement with that.
Chilwane further explained the strategy to provincial education will use to process the 2024 academic applications.
What we're doing this year, we're going to have a single application process. What I mean with this application, or what we mean rather, a single application process. Last year, we had two-phased approach. The first one was for learners that were within our system, the grade 7s that were in public schools. We gave them first preference to come to apply. Then we opened up for others who were outside the system, the public education system. So this year we're just going to have one process, meaning everyone will apply on the same day. The application process will be open for all the same day, the 15th of June. So it will be a single application process. And that is for both grades, grade 1 and grade 8. The website is www.gdeadmissions.gov.za.
He urged parents to follow all the steps and register with a reliable contact number to receive application updates. He further advised parents to avoid using public internet cafes to complete their applications.
Parents will have to create a login credentials that includes username and password. That will ensure that they have access to the system. And once they begin, they need to follow through the process step by step. I'll get to the steps later, but they will have to conclude the process entirely. One issue that we've had most problem with as well, it might seem small, but it's a big issue, is for having a reliable cell phone number. A reliable cell phone number. Parents apply with a particular phone number. Whatever happens in between, they lose the number. We are unable to communicate with them on placement offers and other information that they need. Maybe they might not have completed the application, they will not have submitted all the documents required, etc. So we need a reliable cell phone number. So whichever number that parents are going to put there, it needs to be reliable, and they must ensure that it's always live up until. So if they lose their phones, etc., they need to do a SIM swap, but they will need that number, because that's what we are emphasizing here, that we need a reliable and correct number. We are discouraging the usage of internet cafes. I mean, not discouraging, sorry, not encouraging, discouraging. My apology. We are discouraging the usage of internet cafes. They are not reliable. I know that there are some areas, especially in the city centers, parents would go into these internet cafes, and it really became difficult for them. So we have set up working centers. We have set up at our district offices, our schools. So we have set up a province-wide system support for parents to be able to walk in and do this application. So we are really discouraging the usage of internet cafes.
The Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, which is currently in Phase 4 in the basic education sector, aims to broaden youth employment opportunities. This leg of the PYEI began in February, and more young people have been placed in schools as education and general assistants. The initiative focuses on curbing youth unemployment and ensuring that the youth placed in the schools receive additional skills to ensure they are suitable for work elsewhere. For many of the general assistants, the initiative has sparked a teaching interest and a passion to address the learning losses brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's now take a listen at what some of the curriculum assistants had to say.
Being an educator assistant at Imbasa Primary School has helped me to not be in one of the statistics of the unemployed youth. It has also helped me great to also help my family financially, and also to make them proud, because at the moment I'm the only one receiving an income.
It means that I've communicated with children, helped them, and to sit with them, to see what they're struggling with.
It's a huge opportunity for me, because I'm really very interested in children, and that was one of my goals, to be in education in any form, even if it is ECT or something like that. So this will help me with experience. It will upgrade even my skills.
Given the opportunity to do something, it's just taking it and doing the most of what it is, and just like enjoy yourself. Doesn't matter Just even you don't know that, you must learn how to do it.
When we return, we delve deeper into the department's plans to protect children this Child Protection Week.
I am a nurturer, like you.
Real men stand against gender-based violence.
I get hurt, like you.
If I am a victim of violence, I too will not be ashamed to report violence and abuse.
I hate it when someone violates me, like you.
In a violent situation, there is power in walking away. I will not take part in fights at school.
All I want is to feel safe, to feel loved, and to be free to show love, like you.
I cry when I'm hurt, because to feel is to be human. I pledge to be more open about my emotions.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
Officials from the Department of Basic Education gathered at the head office in Pretoria to celebrate Africa Day. The commemoration was to highlight cultural and economic potential that exists on the continent. This year's theme was accelerating the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area to bring the greater prosperity to the continent. The DBE officials dressed in traditional attire and rendered indigenous performances that represented the diversity within the department and on the continent. National Child Protection Week is commemorated yearly in South Africa from the 28th of May to the 4th of June to raise awareness of the rights of children as stipulated in the Constitution and the Children's Act. The campaign is led by the Department of Social Development in partnership with key government departments, including, of course, the Department of Basic Education and civil society organizations, which provide child protection services. The Director of Social Cohesion and Equity at the Department of Basic Education, Liko Botterman, highlighted what the department is doing to respond to the difficulties faced by children in the country.
This day comes as a result of the recognition of the difficulty that is experienced by children in our country, in our continent, and globally. And so the different sectors in our country have decided to join efforts in ensuring that we amplify the importance of protection of children.
Botterman said that a lot of work must be done in making sure that children are not exposed to sexual abuse and cyberbullying. He therefore urged parents and caregivers to monitor their children's digital spaces.
We're doing this because we recognize that even though much has been done to protect the rights and the well-being of children over the years, particularly in the last decade, there is still a lot to be done because we've got a particular trouble at the moment where our children are sexually violated and sexually abused, both at home and at school and in other public spaces. We've got children underage who are falling pregnant as a result of alleged statutory rape cases. We've got now children who are experiencing cyberbullying and bullying at school, and sometimes they even go as far as committing suicide because they can't deal with the trauma that they are experiencing as a result of that bullying. Now, the digital space and the information technology space and the evolution in this country about online participation and digital participation of children is adding to the much difficult problems that we're experiencing for children, because now children are found in online and digital spaces without the supervision of their parents. And because the digital space by design is not a fully regulated space, and so children are at risk of being sexually groomed, sometimes even at risk of being kidnapped as a result of a risky digital participation. And so it means then that we need to promote knowledge amongst our children around online safety, so that they understand that the online spaces are not as safe as they ought to be, and that there are things that children can do to protect themselves or to avoid risk, and that there are things that parents and caregivers can do to protect children from exploitation that exists in digital and online spaces.
He reminded teachers that corporal punishment is strictly prohibited in schools and hopes to address the issue with school communities that still practice it.
Also, we want to use this time to promote the United Nations global campaign to end corporal punishment. Because although corporal punishment has been banned in our country, we know that there is still practice of corporal punishment in various communities and various school communities. And we do want to partner with children so that we identify where this existence still is, so that we can then address it, so that by 2030, we end corporal punishment completely in our country as part of the global campaign of the United Nations.
The Limpopo Education Department has launched a new art school. Stay tuned to find out more.
Hey learners in grade R11, feeling stuck or confused? Have you lost learning time in the last while? Well, Tswelopele is back to help you catch up. Find resources on the DBE cloud to use and share. Watch support lessons on TV or on our YouTube channel, where you will find exciting lessons in key grade R to 9 subjects. And for grade 10 to 11, have fun learning in many different subjects. Join our community of learners and teachers, parents and caregivers on Facebook, where there are tips and advice for better learning. Need help? Contact us via our WhatsApp line and get support on all your subject problems. Stay connected. You can count on us. Check out our website to find out more at www.tswelopele.org.za. Tswelopele.
The Department of Basic Education continues to train teachers and subject advisors on the 3 streams model. This week, the training took place at schools of skills offering technical and occupational subjects at the Ekurhuleni Skills Center in Gauteng. The department has started implementing the 3 streams model into the curriculum and remains dedicated to equipping learners with relevant skills for the ever-changing world, which includes carpentry, woodwork, and electrical technology. With this model, the department believes it will provide numerous opportunities to learners and respond to the skills needed for the ever-changing world.
With these skills, you are able to become a full carpenter. And carpenter is divided into different sections. People just think that carpenter is just cabinets. When you are able to cut, when you're good with joints, the 45 degrees, the tongue and groove, you are able also to put in your own ceiling at home. You are able to put in doors. You are able to assist with roofs. And you are able to do skate things around the house. So with that, you need to be able to study. It does not have to be specifically civil engineering, but you can do your carpentry and your woodworking. That's the careers that you need to follow, so that you can be able to start here and then be able to go into the sections of installing cabinets in your home.
Limpopo Education MEC Mabunguli Rule Ramakanya has officially handed over the Malamulele High School and Art School to the Collins Chabane community. The state-of-the-art school, completed in November 2022, has enrolled just over 800 learners. The handover is part of the infrastructure provisioning aimed at lifting the education standard and improvement of results in all grades.
2023 is our year in the Department of Education, a year of infrastructure. We are saying for better quality of teaching and learning should happen in a better classroom. A teacher should be able to plan better, sitting in a better administration or staff room. When I was reading the budget speech, I emphasized on the new projects. Our implementing agent, IDT, just to name one, already they are preparing to build 36 schools in the province, and this will be done under this current financial year.
This year we are intending to hand more schools to do some more few handovers, official handovers. We have got plus minus 36 schools that are currently construction or implementation. We have got a team of technical teams, different sites, all the districts. We have got few more plus minus 50 schools that are at conceptualization stages, which is where we do the detailed designs, we do the feasibility studies, and as one of the instructions that we have captured today is that those schools that we are conceptualizing or doing the feasibility study, we need to consider the issues or the need for aligning our schools to the fourth industrial revolution.
So we are hoping that the dignity of a learner, the raising the bar of curriculum in our classrooms should be able to really make a difference to the education of who we are in the Limpopo province.
That's how we end this bulletin this week on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel and on OpenView, channel 122. Remember to send through your stories or comments by contacting us on our Twitter handle @DBE TV News. Thank you for watching.